What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew, everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make this show the best that it can be. Now, let's talk some NBA real quick, man. Look, word has it, man. I try to keep up with daily occurrences, NBA talk, and the prominent figures, covering the famed purple and gold. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of trade rumors involving, various teams throughout the league, not just the Lakers, but I'm hearing, stuff about the Nuggets, the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets, Sacramento Kings, Miami Heat, possibly even the Milwaukee Bucks, by the way. But nonetheless, I wanted to show this real quick, man, and because word has it that the Lakers are considering, oh my God, bringing back Kyle Kuzma. And the thing about it, man, what's crazy is if a player wasn't good enough when you traded him, why do you want to bring him back via trade? I've never seen nothing like it in my life, dog. But yeah, man, I've been coming across podcasts and live streams on social media this week, man, and and see the thing about and fans of the Hurricane, which y'all gotta understand is this, man. This has been a constant pattern for years. This goes beyond his since he been playing for the Lakers, man. The Hurricane, which I gotta understand is normally when you put a team together, whatever players that you select or draft or trade for or sign as a free agent, primarily when you draft a player, you do so with the thought of what their strengths is and what they could contribute to produce a winning outcome. But when you have to play with that guy, you go from that thought process and then you start saying, well, you start looking at his so-called weaknesses. You no longer look at the player's strengths, and eventually that player is traded or let go. That's been the constant pattern, man, for going on. It's beyond 10 years, man. It's beyond 10 years now. And Kyle Kuzma had to be subjected to that. And during that process, even prior to him being traded, he had to subjugate his game and his talent and essentially become what a lot of players become under that system, the LBJ system. You eventually become a spot-up shooter. Especially if you wanted like a front court player, like a power forward or a four, as they call it. You're eventually going to become a spot-up shooter. It happened to Chris Bosh. It happened to Kevin Love. So now they're looking at Kuzma's strengths. Oh, he's 6'10". He can slash to the basket. He can create his own shot. Blase. He can switch off on defense. Well, he was able to do that when they drafted him during his rookie season. See, during his rookie season, before all this started, they spoke highly of Kyle Kuzma and what he could provide for the team moving ahead towards the future. But when the Hurricane join in or make his presence known, then next thing you know, oh man, we got to bring in a superstar. It is what it is. But I wanted to share this, man, because right now, Kyle Kuzma, he's out of the lineup for the Washington Wizards because he suffered a rib injury a couple weeks ago in a game where a player from the opposing team, I can't remember that game, but he inadvertently struck Kuzma in the ribs, and he's been out since. Now, part of it too, he probably don't want to play until he get traded because their team is going nowhere, especially after Bradley Beal got traded away. Kristaps Porzingis got traded away. Daniel Gafford got traded away. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope got traded away. So it's really just him, he, and Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole is he play a certain way. Jordan Poole, he shouldn't have been traded either. He should still be in Golden State. But that's a whole nother story. But I want to share this quick stat, man, because, like I said, if they looking to bring Kyle Kuzma back, because I do believe there's some credence to that, not saying it's going to happen, but now they're pointing out his strengths and his attributes as a player. Well, he had them same attributes and strengths when they had him. Think about it. His rookie year, he went from 16.5 points a game. By the time he finished up, he was averaging like 12. I mean, come on, man. What we doing? A player is supposed to progress, not regress. And I'm talking about this was happening to this man in his third year. Not his like 9th or 10th year, his third year. But I want to share this, man, because, a lot of fans have been led to believe he was no good or he was overrated. But here's something for you. This man's first year with the Washington Wizards, Kyle Kuzma, this was reported by Basketball Forever. Kyle Kuzma has attempted the second most clutch threes of any player this season, and he has made an insane 52% of them. Clutch shooting is like, let's say about the last minute of a game. And in comparison, Steph Curry, who's often considered the greatest three-point shooter of all time, which he deserves to be recognized as such, his resume backs that claim, was shooting 25%. And Curry, this is him coming off of his championship run of 2022. He was shooting 25% on clutch threes. And then the Hurricane was shooting 27%. Kyle Kuzma was shooting 52%. And his first 2 years with Washington prior to this season, the man was averaging about 22 points a game. He was so dangerous at the end of a game that when Bradley Beal was his teammate, now Bradley Beal has been was the best player on the Wizards team for the past four seasons. He deferred to Kuzma at the end of those games. Kuzma hit 10 game-winning shots for this team his first 2 years with the Wizards. 10. And when they would draw up a play at the end of the game, I knew they was going to call his number because he had that ability as a rookie. 52%. That's the equivalent of like a baseball player on offense hitting 500, batting 400. I believe the last player to bat 400, I believe there was two players that was real close to breaking that mark, achieving that mark. Tony Gwynn, the star player of the San Diego Padres during the 1980s and 90s. During the 94 season, he was hitting like 400, and then baseball held a strike, and then Major League Baseball shut the rest of the season down, where they did not even host the World Series that year. And then George Brett, like during the prime of his career, during the 80s, he hit like 380 something, 390. Last player to hit 400 was like I think Ted Williams, the famous Ted Williams with the Boston Red Sox. But nonetheless, that's how dangerous this man is. And I guarantee if he's traded to a legitimate playoff team, a contender, he'll win 2 games for them. If they make a deep playoff run, he'll win 2 games for them. I guarantee it. Here go a footnote right here, and I'll shut this down. Remember during the bubble, they had a seeding round, right? They had a seeding round before the playoffs started in the bubble. They had a game versus the Denver Nuggets where Denver took the lead about the last 2 minutes, and then the Lakers, rallied back and then tied the game. No, actually, no. They called a play. Instead of taking the 2-point shot, they went for the 3. And you would have thought that they would have called a play for one of the 2 superstars on the team, either AD or the Hurricane or Rajon Rondo was on the team that year, or Danny Green who was on the team that year, or maybe even a Kentavious Caldwell Pope, or a lob to Dwight Howard if you want to try to force overtime and whatnot. They dialed Kyle Kuzma's number, man. I remember that shot, and as soon as he released the shot, it was cash. You just know it, man. A certain player have a certain tendency, man. They have an energy about them. They have a presence about them, and Kuz is essentially a 6-man level player that has a superstar mentality at the end of games. That's Kuzma. That's a rare. I've never seen a combination like that. Most 6 men, even your elite level scoring 6 men, that may get you 20 points a game, like Jamal Crawford did during his heyday, or Lou Williams, or let's say like a Vinny Microwave Johnson. No, he's hit some big shots per se during his career. Vinny Microwave Johnson or Jason Terry. Some of your greatest 6 men of all time. But this guy right here, man, he got the mentality of a superstar, dog. They calling his number, dog. They dialing the player for him, and 52% of the time he gonna hit the shot. So that means right now, in the right situation, if he was on the playoff level team, he'd be the most feared clutch shooter in all the NBA. I guarantee it. And that's who the Lakers drafted. That's who they casted away to Washington, D.C. to bring in another superstar for the other guy. And the other superstar, Russell Westbrook, he was out of there within 18 months. And now they're talking about bringing Kyle Kuzma back. That's what I'm saying, man. It's been a great obstruction over these past 6 years. This man is the most lethal clutch shooter in all of basketball. That's what he is, man. But, the talking head's not going to say it. But I go by what's actually happening as time in the season unfolds. And that's who the Lakers let go. That's what I'm saying. Under a normal basketball situation, you're going to understand that, and you're going to continue to build on that. But when you bring in a player, man, who needs a certain type of team around him, and then eventually gets to the point where that team is always going to be voided out some kind of way, or either top heavy or consisting of a low tier players to fill out the roster, well, you'll never catch up to what you let go. And like I said, Kuzma, man, the dude is lethal. He's money. And I'm not saying this because he was drafted as a Laker. I'm saying it because it's true. I trust him to hit the clutch shot more than any player in the NBA right now. I mean that. If he was on the playoff team right now, I would trust him to hit that shot more than anybody in the league right now. He hit 10 game-winning shots for the Wizards his first 2 years with the team. Playing alongside Bradley Beal. Especially that first year. Bill was looking for him, man. Like, man, we're going to get you the ball. Because we know you can hit that shot. And Bill was a star in his own right. Tell you, boy. Like I said, man, we did this thing right, man. We'd be a juggernaut out there, dog. And that's why Kyle Kuzma said, and I will close it with his words. He said entering what was to be his 3rd year in the NBA, and most of their young core had been traded off or let go. And he sat there during the interview. He said, man, I never thought that we would get rid of all this young talent because for all practical purposes, I believe we had a dynasty in the wake. That's what Kyle Kuzma said about him and that young core. So when people sit there and tell me, because he ought to know, he was practicing with him every day during the course of the season. He wasn't just throwing it out there just to be talking. He knew it. They had it all in the palm of their hand, and they let it go away. So I want to drop this nugget. Props to Kyle Kuzma. Until next time, BTB. Behind